All right, again, good evening, guys and ladies. I am really excited to see how many people showed up to support our guests here tonight. I just want to let you know, if you want to move forward, you're more than welcome to. I apologize for the heat, but at the same time, I am so enjoying it. I'm from Texas. I real quick want to give you just a background on our couple that's here tonight, and just so you understand where they're coming from. Stacy Peterson has a Bachelor in Fine Arts and in theater, and she is a professional actress, stand-up comedian, speaker, and she's performed on stage, in film, in commercials, stand-up, comedy, and she's also done some radio work. She's the co-founder of the Academy of Children's Theater in Colorado Springs, and as well as the Ministry Center for the Arts. Now, she's also an award-winning performer who recently won over all the comics in the state of Colorado for Colorado's Got Talent in 2013, and then she won second place in the overall competition. That's pretty impressive. She is also, her stand-up comedy and outlook on life began when she got a diagnosis of terminal illness with her first husband. She began a difficult journey fraught with failure, which included a failed marriage, single parenting, job loss, broken dreams, and then financial ruin. She now has a deep understanding of the universal need we all have for hope, love, joy, and laughter. She's now married to the love of her life and best friend, Jeff Peterson. He's a professional award-winning musician with over 30 years of performing experience. He's also an ordained pastor with a degree in Bible and youth ministry. He's recorded 2 albums, and he's performed in countless venues, including the Jerry Lewis Telethon. His biggest claim to fame is that he was bachelor number 2 on the dating game, and he did win the girl. Obviously, he's got a story to tell us. So they reside now in Colorado Springs with their 5 children. So it is my privilege to introduce Jeff as he kicks off the show. Thanks.
Okay, that was my wife who put that in there, okay? Is there truth to it? Oh, yeah, there was. I was 23 and stupid. So that was... Oh, guys. Let's see, hold on. Raise your hand if you're so happy to be here with your wife tonight. Everybody has to, see, or your mom, or your, right, because they invited you. Yes, we are. He's like, dude, I'm single. How happy are you to be with that person I don't know. Okay, you're wondering about the dating game thing, right? Yes, it was real. Yes, we wanted to be actors. Yes, I won. Yes, I went to Grenada on a free trip. It was awesome. And she didn't want to go with me because it's true. So anyway, we were both kind of going, okay, and after a year, you give up your right to go on this trip, right? A trip to Grenada, Grenada, yes, we were there. The Army was there for 2 days. But no, this is an incredible place down in the West Indies, so of course you want to go. So you have a whole year to go on this trip, and if you don't, you forfeit it to the other one. So I'm just waiting. I didn't want to go with her, but I said, I'm not giving up a free trip. Yeah, I'm going. And she didn't really want to go with me, so she gave it up. So when we showed up down in L.A., I brought my best friend. 2 guys show up and go, hey, we're ready for it. And they're like, hey, this is the guy-girl dating game. And yeah. So, but no, it was a great time. So that's what happened. Nothing came about it. But I won a free trip. So, but the thing is, right, girls, you know that guys and girls are just totally different, right? And listen, I can say girls and guys, okay? Because I'm going to be 50 this year, okay? So I think I'm older than almost everybody here. So so I can say girls and guys, women and men, okay. And the thing is, right, so guys, when your wife said, hey, we're going out Friday night. We are going out. We're going to have a good time. We are going out. So you're thinking, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, we're going out. So I got a song for you, okay? This is what you're thinking. You're thinking big. You're thinking awesome. Get the beer, get everything. You're thinking, yeah. Well, me and the boys out to have some fun. Gonna cut up a show all night long. There's gonna be some rockin'. show tonight. There's always a rock and roll queen gonna give her and quake, gonna shake her thing. There's gonna be some rocking, gonna be some rocking, gonna be some rocking at the show tonight. Yes, if I had a drummer, it'd be awesome. I got a big fat sound, got a shaky ground, got a big bass drum, gonna have some fun, gonna be some rockin', oh, gonna be some rockin', gonna be some rockin' at the show tonight. Oh, there's gonna be some rockin' at the show tonight. And the big light show and smoke. But then she said, oh no, we're going to church. And you're like, oh, okay. And the women are putting it on. Women, we are so happy that you put this event on for us. But I got a tribute song for you guys, because some of you guys go, no, I totally want to go. On the back of your head, you're going, no, I just so rather stay home and watch TV. So, but you can't say that. See, you can't say that. But we are really happy you guys are here. But I know that you have that secret. And this is something that happens. I don't know if this happens in your house. I'm not saying it happens in mine. I'm just saying I just made this up. It's a tribute. Maybe you've heard this. It goes like this. Oh no, she's coming back. 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 I'll pretend I don't see. I'll turn the volume up because I can't say, shut up, I'm watching TV. This woman is my agony. She says, blah, 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 blah. Please shut up, I'm watching TV. You can't say that though. So just shut up. Yeah, there's a verse that goes with it. I know guys are going, I can't say anything, man. I can't say nothing. And then he goes, so I'm all tucked in for the night. ESPN and Family Guy. Got my pizza and beer and my pants just right? Yeah, I know. Yeah. And then she comes, she's gonna talk forever, gonna talk forever. She crossed her arms, I didn't know what happened. She left the room and she's mad. Oh no, finally she'll know she's coming back. Oh, says she's coming back. I'll pretend I don't see. I'll turn the volume up because I can't say shut up, I'm watching TV. This woman is my agony. She cries, blah, 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 blah. Shut up, I'm watching TV. Blah, 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 blah. I'm watching TV. I'm watching TV. Yes, it's one of the most annoying songs on the radio today, yes. Okay, but something kind of annoying, I'm sorry to say it, but coming over here is a culture shock. Oh, it's not the Germans. Oh, no. It's your whole antonym thing, or whatever you guys, PSD, PP-PO. I got this one, P-O-O-Poo. It's these acronyms, man. What is this? And everybody knows it. Don't you know what the MSS is? And oh, yeah. Ah, brain aneurysm. So anyway, I've just been listening to you guys for the last 2 weeks, but we're getting it. Manny, I'm getting it, man. So I came up with my own acronym song. Because I always want to be honest with you. I confessed to my wife 2 days ago, since I got here. And I said, babe, should I share it? And she goes, yeah, because maybe other people are struggling with this too. I think you should be honest. I said, okay. Because sometimes you come to a foreign country and something just looks really great. And then just look at it and you go, okay, it could be a thing or a she or something, and you're like, you know, and yeah, I'm going to have counseling when I get back into the States. I am. But I like to share it with you. Yes, she has haunted me. Her name is the Audubon. It's the greatest thing in the world, man. I can go how fast? I don't know. You can go as fast as your car can. So I got this one. My aunt's. Well, L is for the way you let me be free. And O is... I'm obsessed with how fast I can go. B, V is very, very extraordinary. Now E is even more than anything that I adore. And love is all that I can give to you. And O is more than anything I can do. And V is very, very extraordinary. Now E is even more than anything that I adore. And love is more than I can give to you, Audubon. And more is more than just a game for two. It's you and me, Audubon, just you and me. Nobody else on that time. Nobody else except you. And please, oh, love can't take it. Break my heart and please don't take it. Now love is made for me and you. Oh, love is made for me and you. I'm going to have one more ride on you one more time. Love is made for me and you. The Audubon. Are you ready to get my wife up here? Yeah, because you're an idiot. So I want to introduce my wife, but before, can I do a song? She is the love of my life. Yeah, the Audubon is a side thing, but I love her. And I tell you, when I met her, and we just became friends, we became business partners, and she had that talk with me out, and she goes, not that I don't think you're attractive or anything, but not interested. I'm like, okay, me neither. Fine. I don't need you. I'm Priest Jeff. That's what I am. I'm, divorced. I got my kids, I got my mission. I'm a priest. Yeah. Well, after about 1.5 years of working with her, it just kind of changed. And, yeah, couldn't stop thinking about her. And I said, no, this is not right. So this song is for you, honey, before you burn out, because I guess. Well, all of me, why not take all of me? Well, can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I want to use them. Well, take my arms, I'll never use them. Well, your goodbyes left me with eyes that cried, and I know I cannot live without you. Oh, you took my heart and tore it apart. So why not take all? So why not take all? So why not take all of me? She is an awesome lady, great entertainer. You're going to have a lot of fun. Give it up for my wife, Stacy Peterson.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Jeff. That's so nice. Isn't he nice to me? He is. We're totally not like that off stage, though. We're horrible. No, I'm just kidding. We're not one of those couples. We're so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having us. We've been in Germany now almost 2 weeks. And the whole acronym thing, I agree. It's like so confusing. I wish there was an acronym for I have no idea what you're talking about. I just came up with one just to MC. No clue. No clue. I have no idea what you're saying. But then I was kind of proud of myself because I did come up with my very own acronym, and it had to do with jet lag. Because we experience jet lag when you come over here with the different times and everything. And so my acronym for the jet lag, I was a little cranky the first day or two, just a little. It was PMS, only not in the way that you think. I just blamed on PMS, painful morning syndrome. Has anybody ever suffered from that at all? Well, I actually looked it up on the internet. For those of you who don't know, PMS exists. And some of the symptoms are moodiness, extreme fatigue, puffiness, bloating, angry outbursts, crying for no reason. That is me in the morning. It is. How many of you in here are morning people? Yeah, wow, quite a few. Yes. Oh, well, this is what you morning people need to know. You morning people are so annoying. You are so unbearably annoying. I do not know what it is about you morning people, but the moment your eyes wake up and your feet hit the floor, it's like your brain and your mouth engage. And it's usually this laundry list of things that have to be done in the day. We didn't do this yesterday, so this is... It is so unbearably painful. And here's the thing about you morning people is that I have a feeling some of you morning people tend to have the false belief that those of us who suffer from PMS are lazy. Is there any morning person in here brave enough to lift their hand and admit it? Thank you. You know what? We're in church, so they were all lying. So thank you very much. Because they do. You think we're lazy, right? This is what you morning people need to know about us who suffer from PMS is we are not lazy. We're not. See, this is what it's like for us. We're asleep. No one's bugging us. No one's asking us for anything. And then suddenly we're jolted awake by a beep, 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 beep. And our eyes, as they focus on the number of the clock, we instantly go through the 7 stages of grief, shock, anger, denial. After whapping the sleep button 7 times, acceptance. And we get up and our bodies are like, what are you doing? I wasn't done sleeping yet. I know, I wasn't either. And since I'm a mom, the moment my feet hit the floor, it's like the shot that was heard around the world. Mommy's up, she hit me, what's for breakfast? I'm hungry. It is so painful. And here's the other thing about you morning people is that I've noticed you tend to be a little snooty about your waking up habits. Because I will get a phone call at 7:45 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and they'll be like, hey, Stacy, I'm sorry, did I wake you up? And then it's always followed by this comment, well, I just lost track of time because I've been up for hours. This is what you morning people need to know, is that it doesn't matter if it's 7:45 a.m., 10:45, 1 in the afternoon. If you wake us up, it's early because we weren't done sleeping yet. And I have been blessed with an entire household of morning people, except for my youngest son. And I'll go in, and I'll wake him up for school. I'll be like, hey, buddy, it's time to get up. It's time to get up for school. And he'll whap and roll over and put the blanket over his head. And I'll say, it's okay. You just have PMS. It's okay. We live in Colorado Springs, and we have 5 children. And I love our kids so much when they're not with us. Thank you. Yes. Are they in childcare or home? Yes, childcare. Hopefully they didn't just hear that right now, right? Yes, we love them when they're not with us. And we have 3 teenagers and 2 tweens, so no drama whatsoever. And I thought that back when I was young, I thought that I knew everything, and that when I grew up, I was going to be an amazing mom. I did. I thought I would gather the children around the table at night in their homemade clothing, and we would eat dinner made with homemade bread and butter from the cow that I milked out back. and I thought I would homeschool the children and teach them math lessons in the grocery store. The only math lessons my kids have ever heard in a grocery store is, I am counting to 3. And then I thought we would make crafts out of empty toilet paper rolls. And the only time my family sees empty toilet paper rolls is when I come out of the bathroom going, why is it no matter what bathroom I go into, I am the only one who changes these things? But I know there are a couple ladies here who are pregnant for the first time. I won't pick them out, but I know where they are. And I think it's so sweet. I will pick one out because I think it's right. You're 36 weeks. Is that right tomorrow? 36? Yes, she's 30. Yeah, isn't that wonderful? Yeah, you would think by the expression of all our mom's face that we actually enjoyed motherhood by that reaction. We don't. We don't at all. At all. And I don't know, and it's so fun to see someone pregnant for the first time, and this is so great because this is so fun. I have the power to make every soldier in here, no matter young, old, single, married, to instantly break out in a sweat out of fear because I'm going to bring up the word labor. It's so great. They're like, don't go there. Don't go there. I'm going there. So when I was pregnant for the first time, I was so curious. I was a little nervous about labor. And so I used to ask, and you ladies can relate, I used to ask all these other moms, I'd be like, what's labor like? And it wasn't until I had my first child, I came back to them, I'm like, you are all a bunch of liars. The only person who was even remotely honest was my sister, and I cannot repeat in front of a Christian audience what she said at all. And so now I feel like it's my obligation to tell women who are pregnant for the first time the truth about labor. And this is what you need to know, is that it is the most hideous, excruciating, unbearable pain. And the moment you think you can't take it anymore, you have your second contraction. It's true. Like I said, I thought having young kids was difficult, and now we have the 3 teenagers and 2 tweens, and we're so happy to be here. We really are. We're so happy to be here. And, they say, and I don't know if this is true, but they say that to successfully raise teenagers, you need to have open communication. Has anybody in here successfully raised a teenager or currently? Yay, is that true? Is that true about? Yes, you need to communicate with them. I have found with my kids that there are only 2 forms of communication with teenagers. There's one for the boys and one for the girls. And with the boys, what I found is their sole form of communication is a grunt. That's how they respond to everything. Everything. You ask them to do something, or you ask about their day, I can say, hey, how was your day? And that basically just means, why are you bothering me? That's what that means. If you ask them to do something, they might give you the grunt with an elongated sigh. So something like, hey, did you do your homework? It's, ugh. And that basically means, why are you bothering me? You're ruining my life. That's all you need to know. And with the girls, the sole form of teenage girl communication is the rolling of the eye roll. And all eye rolls mean the exact same thing. You're so stupid, you don't know anything. Only in our house, it's disrespectful to roll their eyes. They're not allowed to. But I found it so ingrained in the female teenage body to roll their eyes that they'll catch it and it will actually come out in physical form. It looks a little like this. Like that. And having been a teenage girl at one point in my life, I still roll my eyes, but rather than, knowing everything, I find I roll my eyes for the exact opposite reason. Something like, where are my keys? Oh. That is what my eye roll looks like now at the age of 40. It's really gone downhill. The other thing that cracks me up about teenagers is, especially with the girls, is they use their age as the sole basis of logic to be allowed to do anything. What do you mean I can't? I'm 16. I would love to use that logic in real life. I would love to go into my boss one day and go, what do you mean I can't have a raise? I'm 40. And back when I knew everything, before I had kids, you used to hear about different cultures or time periods where they would marry their young off at such an early age. I just think that's terrible. That is just a lack of education. But now that I have teenagers of my own, I'm beginning to think maybe us Americans, maybe we don't know everything. I mean, the first time your teenage daughter mouths off at you, oh, I'm sorry, what's that? Oh, you know everything? Oh, you know more than me? Okay, here's a husband. Go live with your in-laws. Brilliant! Brilliant! And I wish I could go back in time because I found there are a few things I did not teach my teenagers back when they were young, when I should have. Especially with the girls, for an example. I wish they were young and could be like, oh, is that, you want to play Barbies? Okay, you be Barbie, I'll be Ken. Oh, no, honey, I'm sorry, that's Nick. Yeah, Nick doesn't have a job. Nick plays guitar in a rock band in his garage, so we're going to put Nick right over here in the garbage can where he can find himself on his own time. Yeah, Nick. But I love kids, and I worked in children's ministry for a while, and I, you're not supposed to have favorites, and I don't, but there's just something about young boys that I just adore, and I think it's because I know what we women do to men later on in life that I have compassion for them, because I have seen it firsthand on the playground. Up until a certain age, boys are so filled with just adventure and everything is amazing. No one's told them that everything they've ever thought was completely wrong and why. They haven't experienced that yet. And so you'll see them on the playground playing, and then one day he'll notice her. You know, the one with the dress and the curls. Only he doesn't just notice her, he notices her notice him. And that's when it all changes. Do you want to play with me? Okay. Okay, we're going to play house, and I'm going to be the girl, and you're going to be the boy. Okay, no, you can't sit there. That's the bed. You have to sit over here. No, that's the couch, and your pants are dirty. You can't sit there. Okay, here, hold the baby. No, that is not how you hold a baby. You hold it like this. Okay, so anyways, I thought my outfit was really cute, but she made fun of it on the playground, and I don't even know why she said it, because I think it meant, are you listening to me? Oh, what? Oh, now you want to go play with your friends? Oh, yeah, you want to leave me home all alone with the baby while you go have fun with your friends? Fine. I don't need you anyway. Welcome to marriage, men. You hear a lot, just with society, you hear about pressures on women and how difficult it is, like with beauty standards and all of that. But I have to confess that my heart actually goes out to a lot of the men in our modern day society, because especially with Jeff, he is like the hardest worker I've ever met. I didn't think anybody could outwork my dad, but Jeff can, and he's such a good guy, and he'll come home, and he's been taught just through society and probably marriage counseling, I don't know, but he's been taught that you're supposed to come home and you're supposed to spend, quality time with your children and help with household chores and verbally communicate with your wife if you want a little something extra special later. And so basically, he's supposed to come home and be a woman. I mean, that's really what he's supposed to do. Because I highly doubt men a few thousand years ago came home to this. I know you've had a hard day hunting mammoth, but I found your loincloth on the floor of the cave again. And I asked you half a moon ago to put the log up so little Ugg wouldn't fall in the fire. And then today, I found the jar of half-ground maize I gave to you to give to Mrs. Oz 3 cliffs over, rotting next to your broken spear. I feel like we don't communicate. You know my love language is acts of service. And when you don't do these things, my love tank is on E. I mean, can you imagine that caveman's face? He'd be like, huh? And ladies, I feel like that's when we greet our men like that at the door. They give us that same look because they're just trying to throw a cave over our head and throw some meat down on the table, right, men? And the other thing, our marriage did survive the Autobahn, just so you know. It was a little rocky there for a day, but we did. We survived the Autobahn.
We did. And I do have a love affair with it, but it's fine. But guys, I as you say that, I just want to, it's okay, because my therapist said this. It's fine to have these certain thoughts. And I have a song that goes with those certain thoughts, because it's not that I don't love my 5 kids, not that I don't love my wife. I do. I do very much. But there is those days where you just have this feeling. If I leave here tomorrow, would you still remember me? 'Cause I must be traveling on now, 'cause there's too many places I've got to see. Please don't take it so badly. You know I'm to blame, 'cause I'm as free as a bird now, and this bird you cannot change. Oh, and this bird you cannot change. Where's your lighters? How did he fit Leonard Skinner in a Christian concert? Because they're the greatest rock band ever. Bye-bye, it's been a sweet love. You know I'm to blame, 'cause I know, babe, I'm the one. Because you know, well, this bird you cannot change, yeah. Oh, and this bird you cannot change. Oh, that bird cannot change. Oh, let you fly, free bird. Leonard Skinner, ladies and gentlemen. He's got to get Leonard Skinner to me.
Now it's awkward. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just totally kidding. No, that was great. Oh, that's too fun. Well, I do have to say that coming over here, I have an older sister and a younger brother, and they are both Marines. I have no idea what happened to me. I'm the middle child, so that must be why I went this way. And my sister, she's a marathon runner now, and it is highly annoying. It is so annoying. And I turned 40 this past May. It was very depressing. And she said, she always talked to me about exercising. She's like, Stacy, you're getting older. You really need to start exercising. I'm like, you don't understand. I'm allergic to exercise. And I am. I really am. Because when I start exercising, my heart starts pounding, and I feel like I can't catch my breath, and my face turns red, and I break out in a sweat all over, and things start hurting. And if you look up an allergic reaction on the internet, those are the exact symptoms. Exact. And so I was a little nervous about, because you know, most military people, y'all are real fit and really into it and stuff. And I will tell you, one of the main reasons I wrote off the military, and this is the honest to goodness truth, for the last 23 years was I thought there's no way I could keep up physically. Like, I'm so unathletic. And I really believed that until, no joke, yesterday, somebody showed me a video of the Army PT warm-up exercises. I'm like, that's what I've been afraid of for the last 23 years? I have been doing that every day, only it just looks a little different because I'm a mom. And so this is what mine looks like. I'm going to go through some of the exercises they showed me on this video. Who left this in the living room? Who did this? And then the other one was like, and dinner is served. Oops, you dropped a napkin, and there you go. I'm like, I do that all the time. My favorite was this. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a bee. There's a bee. It's Germany, though. You can't kill him. You can't kill him at all. I'm like, wow, the Army is ready for me now. But it's summertime, and part of the thing, because I hate working out and all that stuff, and it's summer, and we women, we get really weird about summertime, and it all comes down to the bathing suit. I don't know what it is. We women were like, oh, I just look so fat. I can't wear it. I have a little muffin top. My fat's showing. I can't do it. Men don't care. Men could care. They can have an entire cake from Costco hanging out over their bathing suit, and they just own that thing on the beach. They just wear it.
Yeah. Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. I can't wait to look in the mirror. For all you Southerners, this is your thing. Well, I get better looking each day. Well, to know me is to love me. I must be a heck of a man. Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble, but I'm doing the best that I can. Just got to tell you a little story. I used to have a girlfriend, but I guess she just couldn't compete with all those love-starved women who keep crowding at my feet. Well, I guess I could find me another, but there isn't enough of me. I'm going to stop here. So, if you know this and you want to sing with me, you can. Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way. I can't wait to look in the mirror, 'cause you get better looking each day. That you know me is to love me. I must be a heck of a man. Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble, but I'm doing the best that I can. Oh, I'm doing the best that I can.
Oh, that's awesome. Anywho, so this was a year ago. We were taking the kids to California. We had some work and stuff to do there, and we ended up staying 6 weeks in LA, and that's enough to destroy anyone's self-esteem. And so I was nervous because I'm a girl, and I had to go get a bathing suit. And so, true story, I bought a bathing suit, and I brought it back the next day. And the lady who was doing the return, she said, "I'm sorry, is there anything wrong with it?" I said, "Yeah, me in it. That's what's wrong with it." And that's when I had a friend tell me about the miracle suit. Have any of you ladies ever heard of the miracle suit? Anyone? Know what? Yeah, they're amazing, huh? They are like Spanx on steroids. They will suck it up. And it says right on the tag that it will instantly make you look 10 pounds thinner. And I figured out why. It's because you lose 10 pounds just putting the thing on. It's like, here. Ow. Oh. Wow. I look good. But then going to the pool or the lake, it's like, Mommy, come play with me. Mommy can't move right now, but doesn't Mommy look good? But I wish, especially turning 40, I wish I could go on a beauty vacation. I know a lot of you women can relate. I wish I could go on a beauty vacation where I could just let everything go and just let it all grow. Because it's just taking so much work. It's just so much time and effort. And back when I was young, like in my early 20s, I would wake up every morning and my stomach would bounce back flat and my hair was bouncy and shiny and my skin bounced back when I poked it. Well, I'm telling you, all of that bouncing must have taken its toll because everything's looser and longer now. And the first thing I would let go is my hair, because I've never been one of those good hair people. You know how some women, ladies, you know what I'm talking about, some women, they look like a chronic Pantene commercial, like their hair is amazing no matter what, in the wind, whatever. They're like, wow, who did your hair? God did. It's like, oh, I missed that appointment. But I have been trying with my hair for so long, I'd probably have to go into hair rehab, and it would probably look a little something like this. My name is Ellen Pfeiffer, and I'm a hairaholic. Thank you. I had a fairly normal childhood, ponytails, pigtails, a few barrettes. That wasn't until my 10th birthday when my aunt got me a hot pink Conair, and it was love at first sight. Shortly afterwards, my friend introduced me to Rave Mega Hold No. 4 hairspray, and I got my hair high, and I had never had high hair, and it was so high. It was amazing. Shortly after that, I experimented with my first chemical sun-in, and it's just been a downward spiral ever since. I mean, you name it, I've done it. I've had high hair, low hair, no hair, hippie hair, short hair. I've even donned a wig a time or two. I didn't think it was a problem. That was until our beauty store annual $10 liter sale. Normally, I go the day before to case out the joint to see which end cap to shove my way to first, but I had to work late. So I borrowed my friend's high-powered car charger spotlight that night, and I was blasting it through the windows trying to read the sale signs when the cops came. Something about parking illegally, acting suspicious, assaulting a cop, whatever. So I was waiting for my friend to bail me out when I got a glimpse of my hair, and it was at its lowest point. It was fried, dried, mismatched color, my latest hairdresser had left for Fiji, and I was all alone. And that's when I got to thinking, what was it like all those years ago to just have hair, simple hair? I've been product-free for 3 weeks. And I realize now that my hair does not need to be in a chemically altered state to be beautiful. My name is Ellen Pfeiffer, and I'm a hairaholic. Thank you. I was getting ready to turn 40, and I started getting all these emails. Like, I got on some kind of email spam list kind of a thing for Botox. And so much so that I actually thought to myself, I was like, would I do it? Would I actually do Botox? And then I thought, no, I wouldn't, because I would feel too guilty because there's starving children in the world. And I would feel really bad being, I'm so sorry you didn't eat last night, but don't I look 10 years younger? So I didn't do it, but I did think, I thought, you know what, if I did do Botox, I wouldn't waste it on my face, ladies. I wouldn't. I would Botox my boobs because they were not that great to begin with, and then I breastfed my kids, and by the time I was young with my youngest son, when I was done with him, I could have him in a backpack and just huck one over the shoulder and be like, hey, here, have a snack. And now I get ready, and I just kind of roll them up, and I drop them in. And I haven't had a mammogram yet, but if things keep heading in the direction that they're heading, I'll be able to lay them out on the table and go, hey, I'm just going to be back there reading a magazine while you do whatever it is you do with these things. And so that's my inspiration for this piece, Water Bra Wonder. My husband and I were getting ready to celebrate our 15th wedding anniversary, and I have to confess, I was feeling a bit old. I mean, things ain't what they used to be in the looks department, if you know what I mean. Things had grown southward, had expanded into new horizons, and settled into places that were supposed to be uninhabitable. Well, my husband didn't seem to mind, and I hardly ever noticed. That wasn't until our 15th wedding anniversary. He wanted to surprise me with a really special night out, so he told me I should go get myself something nice to wear. Now, I hadn't been in the mall in forever, because I figure if it ain't at Walmart, then I just don't need it. Well, I went to the mall, and I spotted the prettiest dress in one of them windows. Oh, it was just breathtaking. It was cut like this and had a slit right up to here. I thought my husband would fall over dead when he saw me in it. So I ran right in, and I grabbed me a size 6. All right, it wasn't a size 6, but that's beside the point. So I told the girl that worked there that I wanted to try it on, and I was so excited, I was about to burst. So I got myself all in it, and then I turned, and I looked in the mirror, and I about had a heart attack. Well, it was nothing like the one in the window. The shape was all wrong. I mean, things were oozing where things aren't supposed to ooze. And then the girl came up and asked if everything was all right. I said, no, what on earth is wrong with your mirrors? Well, it turns out it wasn't the mirrors. That's what I really look like. That's when she informed me about shape and wear. She told me all I needed to do to look good in the dress was to get me a shaper in a push-up water bra from a store downstairs. A bra with water in it? That is just crazy. I had to see that for myself. So I bought the dress, and I went downstairs in the mall, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw it. The water bra. It was like the rest of the world fell away, and it was just me in the bra. And when I tried it on, it was like the 8th wonder of the world. I don't think I've ever been so uplifted. Well, the key girl at that particular store said if I want to look extra special, I should consider myself a fake hairpiece. Now, I wasn't too sure because it looked like a dead rat sitting there, but I tried it on along with some false eyelashes and some fake fingernails and some spike heels. And I have to admit, I did look a lot different than when I first came in. Well, I was ringing things up at the cash register when I noticed something called sexy mints. Now, I am not exactly sure what makes a mint sexy, but I thought if it was anything like the water bra, my husband was in for a real treat. So that night I got myself all ready. I did have a little problem gluing my eyes shut with the eyelash glue, but other than that, I did pretty good. My hair was pinned, my eyes were glued, my nails were sticky tabbed, my bra was pumped, my gut was sucked, my heels were on. I was fabulous. Oh, you should have seen my husband's face when he saw me at the top of the stairs. He did a double, no, a triple take. It was exactly what I'd hoped for. Well, I reached the bottom of the stairs and I coyishly opened my purse to grab a sexy mint, only I never had fake fingernails before, and that was a little trickier than I thought. And one of those mints got stuck to some eyelash glue I had on the side of my finger, and I couldn't get it off. So I flicked it. Only one of them fake fingernails shot that mint clear to the back of my throat. I tried to catch it with my tongue, only it was too late. I started choking and gasping. My husband screamed at the kids to dial 911, and it was then that I realized what he was about to do. I went to say something, only nothing came out, so I just motioned frantically, "Don't touch my bra!" Only it was too late. He came running up behind me with those big hairy arms and the fist the size of Texas to give me the Heimlich. And it was all over. First the right and then the left. Gone in a giant gush while my sexy mint hurled silently through the air. That night I was laying in the ER with my hair dislodged and my eyelash glued to this side of my cheek, watching my husband snack on sexy mints. And I got to thinking, maybe there's some truth-only shopping at Walmart. I mean, after all, the only thing fake there is the food. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys. I'm going to take a little time tonight to just share a little bit of my story, my testimony. And I've tried to come up with really creative transitions because it's hey, we're all laughing, having a good time. And then and then I wanted to kill myself. And so it's always awkward. So I've learned to just dive right in and just make it extremely uncomfortable for all of us. So, but I want to share a little bit of my story of just kind of my life. And I am originally from Oregon. Anyone in here? Yay! What part? Ashland. Oh, I'm going to be talking about Ashland. Oh, wow. Okay, that's part of my story. Well, I'm from Oregon, as you obviously know. No surprise now. And my parents were hippies, which probably explains a lot about me. And so you would think that my older sister, my younger brother being Marines, were the good children. No, my parents were hippies. I was the good child. Thank you very much. They went into the military. When I was a baby, my mom had a neighbor that shared with her the message of Jesus, and she had never really heard that, and both my parents became followers of Jesus, and so I was raised in the church, and I just kind of always knew God. I only had one neighbor. They were a mile away, and so I had lots of time by myself, and so it was just me and God that hung around a lot. And when I was 7, I had asked Jesus in my heart at church, and I got to put the little red apple on the tree of life. And what I loved about church was the stories. We had a felt board, and there was picture Bibles, and I remember just the costumes and all these amazing stories, and I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the Bible. In my school, there was only 15 in my graduating class, and in rural communities, for any of you who grew up, there's not a lot of arts. It's mostly sports. It's mostly athletics, whatever. And I was not athletic at all, and my whole family was. So I grew up on the softball field. I played the token 2 right innings the last inning of every game, the right field. That was me. And so I never really found anything that I was good at or passionate about until I was in high school. And I had an hour-and-a-half bus ride each way to and from school. And so I would sit in the back of the bus, and I would make up characters. I never heard of acting. I didn't know what that was, but that's basically what I was doing. And when I was a junior in high school, I had an English teacher pull me aside and said, "Have you ever thought about acting?" And I was like, "No, I don't even know what it is." So she said, "There's this competition, and I would like to take you to it." And so she gave me a monologue, and I went to Ashland, Oregon. And this teacher drove me 2 hours one way, and I performed this monologue, and the judge pulled me aside and said, "Hey, how long have you been acting?" And I said, "Today." And so she told me about this program that she ran through the Ashland Shakespeare Festival, where they took 65 students from around the world, and they gave them this intensive basically a training for several weeks where you interned with this world-renowned theater company, and she suggested I applied, and I did, and I got in. So my very first acting experience was at the Ashland Shakespeare Festival, and it was amazing. And I thought, oh my goodness, I finally found something I've connected with. I went back home. There's no art, so I didn't do anything through my senior year, and I thought, well, I'm going to go to college and become a teacher. And that same teacher, she pulled me aside, and she said, "Hey, there's another competition. I'd like for you to do it." So the second time I acted, I actually won a full-ride scholarship to college. And so I went to college, and I studied acting. And while I was there, I met my first husband. And I graduated, we were married, and I was looking to get my master's, and I actually had the airplane ticket and everything. I was trying to get into Yale School of Drama and a couple other places. And he said, "Hey, I've been thinking I don't agree with this acting lifestyle, and so you need to choose between me or acting." And so I chose to not act. I didn't act for 15 years, which I still believe was the right decision to make. And so in the meantime, we were married. I had 2 beautiful children, and the marriage was a little difficult. But then on December 29th of 2005, my first husband was diagnosed with a terminal illness. And at that time, I had a daughter who was 4, and my son was 1. And my whole world just turned upside down. And I had gone from being a stay-at-home mom, and I had just started this theater company where I was teaching kids acting, and to all of a sudden being the provider. So there were times over the next couple years where I worked 2 or 3 jobs, 70, 80 hours a week at a time, just to put food on the table and keep everything going and take care of the kids and take care of the house. And people used to say to me, how do you do it, Stacy? And I would say, it's God is good. I'm like a Slinky, the toy, the Slinky. I'm like, I get up in the morning and I peel myself out of bed, and by the afternoon I start falling all over myself, and at the end of the day I do a face plant, but I'm moving forward. And I really believed that for several years, but anybody who's ever had a Slinky know that eventually they get tangled and don't move, and that's what would happen to me. For a variety, there was some variety of reasons, but mainly it was a safety reason. When my daughter was 10, I had to ask my ex-husband now to go get help, which he did not, and so I found myself going through a divorce. And I was in ministry at that time. I was in children's ministry, and I loved it, and I was on fire for God. And here I am going through a divorce. And if anybody who's a single parent knows that nobody ever thinks, when I grow up, I want to be a single parent. I want to be a single mom or a single dad. Nobody wants that in their life ever. And here I was in ministry, and it was really devastating. It was a very difficult time. Through the divorce, I lost everything financially, but I was still like, God is good, I'm going to do it, da-da-da. And in the meantime, I met Jeff, and we were just friends, literally. And we started a nonprofit organization, Ministry Center for the Arts, working with kids, bringing the arts and things to them. And in July of 2011, my divorce was going to be final, and I lost my home in the divorce. And right before, we were putting on a musical theater camp for kids, and I stepped on a rusty nail. And it was no big deal. It healed fine. I'm like, whatever. And I had a tetanus shot. I'd been in the Dominican Republic working with kids 6 months prior. And the day that I went to sign over the house, the divorce was finalized. I went to sign over the house. I started feeling really funny. And I couldn't even get through all the paperwork. And to be honest, I don't remember much after that. I ended up being in the hospital for 3 weeks, and I almost died. And what happened was bacteria had gotten into my blood and traveled up, and for whatever reason, it had settled in a joint in my back and had become infected. And it took the doctors a couple weeks to figure out what was happening. And when I left the hospital, and I joke about exercising, I do hate it, but at that time I was very healthy, and so I was running 5 miles a day. When I left the hospital, I couldn't even walk. I left in a wheelchair. And because I couldn't get back to my job in time, because my job, it was 3 flights upstairs with no elevator, I lost my job. So in 3 weeks' time, my divorce was finalized. I lost my home. I lost my marriage. I lost my health. And then I lost my independence, being able to take care of, my children and even myself. And my entire life was severed. But even then, I was like, no, God's going to get me through it. And so I did, they call IV antibiotics, where you go in every day and they give you IV antibiotics to kill the bacteria. I did that for 6 weeks. It healed fine. I was feeling great. And it was actually in December on my kids' birthdays. Both their birthdays are 2 days apart in December, poor planning. And I started feeling really funny at their party, and I ended up back in the hospital and almost died. And the infection had come back. And they were like, the doctors were like, this is really weird. It should have died the first time. We don't know why we can't kill the bacteria or whatever. So I was in the hospital again and did more antibiotics, 6 weeks, whatever. And they're like, okay, now we've got it. You're good. You're fine. 6 months after that, and at that time, Jeff and I got married, which I can tell you that story another time, but it was great. And so it came back. And this time, it was in a matter of 3 hours. I went from being totally fine to almost dead in the ICU. And each time, I would have that moment with God of, wow, I'm dying. And I would think, this is it, God? And there was two things that I was really disappointed. And the first one was, wow, I'm going to die. I didn't spend enough time with my friends and family. Relationships really are what matters. And the second thing was, I felt like I lived my life trying to make everybody else happy, and that I hadn't done what God had called me to do. But each time the nurses would say, wow, you almost died last night. And I began to think, well, then why am I here? That summer, the infection came back. I almost died. I was in ICU. And they said, we don't know. There's no case like you. So what we're going to do is we're going to do surgery. The problem is that where the joint is and all that, all your arteries go through, it's so scarred up that you could either be paralyzed or there's a good chance you're going to die on the table. And so Jeff and I talked about it, and we're like, well, we felt like we should do the surgery. Obviously, I didn't die on the table, and obviously I'm not paralyzed. But before the surgery, I remember sending my kids on an airplane to go be with my mom and thinking, oh my goodness, what kind of a parent have I been? What kind of an example? How have I lived my life? And I may never see them again. That time, I did 12 weeks of IV antibiotics, 3 months, every day. And they're like, okay, you've done the surgery. We did 3 months. It's gone. You're good. 4 weeks to the day I stopped the antibiotic, that infection came back. And I was devastated. I was devastated because I thought, it's just a season, and this is just God getting me through. And when the infection came back, and they're like, we don't know, there's nothing we can do for you. I was so mad at God. And I went from a person who just loved church and loved God and never denied his existence to, I got to a place where I would open up my Bible because that's like what you're supposed to do, and I would get so angry I would want to throw my Bible across the room. Or I would hear Christian music on the radio, and it would just make me angry. I didn't want people's pat answers of, well, why do we suffer, and why is God silent? I didn't want to hear it because they just were like, well, God's going to get you through it. And it just didn't answer my suffering. And I remember there were nights that were so agonizingly, emotionally, and physically painful that I didn't think I could get through the next 5 minutes. I didn't. I thought, and I would say, God, I can't make it through the next 5 minutes. And I tried to deny God's existence. I had a moment where I'm like, what is it? Okay, what if there is no God? What if I've lived my whole life and he doesn't exist? And then I started thinking back of, there was just too many things of where God spoke to me or where God worked in my life that I couldn't deny it. I was like, okay, I know you exist, but I don't like you and I don't want to have anything to do with you. But the one thing I would manage to pray, I would manage to muster is I would say, God, don't let me go my own way. And years before, I had prayed, I'd say, God, I don't understand grace. I don't know what that means. Like, how much is me being a good girl and doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, and how much is you? I don't understand. Well, I can tell you at that point, I was doing nothing. I didn't even believe in him. I didn't like him. I didn't want anything to do with him. They ended up diagnosing me with PTSD because having so many near-death experiences and just severe depression, all kinds of stuff. And he stuck with me through all of it. He was amazing. He never judged me. Then what they did was they put me on antibiotics, the doctors, every day. So I take antibiotics every day to stay alive, and I'm allergic to 3 of the 4 strains. So they said eventually you're going to become immune to that 4th strain, and then you're going to die. I went 1.5 years without it coming back. Yay! And then it was Jeff's birthday this January. In fact, and he talked to Gary and Suzanne about coming here to Germany. And I said, oh, Jeff, this is going to be your best year ever. And the very next day, my infection came back. So this past January, February, and March and April, I was dealing with that. And so every day I get up and I have no idea if I'm even going to be here tomorrow. But this is what I would tell you about what God has shown me. A couple of things. The first is that I did nothing. And there's a story in the Bible that I used to teach kids, and I loved it. And it's Jesus walking on the water. It's found in Matthew. I won't take the time to read it. But basically, the disciples are on this boat, and they've been up, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and they see something in the distance, and they're like, it's a ghost. And Jesus is like, no, hey, it's me, it's fine, it's cool. And Peter says, hey, if it's you, Jesus, tell me to come out and walk on the water, which I have to confess, I'm always like, what was Peter thinking? Like, who thinks that? Hey, just tell me to walk on the water. But he does, and so Jesus says, come on. And so Peter gets out of the boat, and he's looking at Jesus, and there's waves and wind and all this. And he walks to Jesus, and then he looks down at his circumstances, and he begins to sink. And then Jesus reaches out and grabs him and says, Peter, why did you doubt? And what I used to teach, how I used to teach that story was the way that I was taught. Well, when life is hard and things are getting to you and there's the winds and the waves, you got to keep your eyes on Jesus. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Don't look at your circumstances. But now that I've been through what I've been through, I would tell you this, that Peter did everything wrong. He did everything wrong. He got out of the boat. He looked at the winds. He looked at the waves. He began to sink. And do you know what? God rescued him anyway. And I can tell you that I don't care what is happening in your life. I don't care if you brought it on yourself with an addiction or with problems. I don't care what the circumstances are, what you've done. It doesn't matter. If you haven't done everything perfect, it doesn't matter. Because if you cry out to God, he will rescue you anyway. Because he is faithful when we are faithless. And the last thing that I want to share with you, if you wouldn't mind showing this slide, thank you so much, is that Jeff and I talked one day about how do we get through difficult circumstances. And this is when I was really struggling, and I said, we both said hope. The hope that maybe tomorrow something different's going to happen, that there's going to be change. And so I was looking at the word hope, and I thought, oh my goodness, the word one is in it, which you can now see. I had somebody design that for me. And I thought, wow, that was so true in my life. And when everything was just decimated in my life, and I was struggling so much, the power of one brought me hope. And that power of one was one kind word somebody would give me, or one smile, or somebody would text me and say, hey, God put you on my heart to pray for you today. And I was like, oh my goodness, God hasn't forgotten me? That's what I would think. It was the power of one by one by one by one that God used his people each time. And that ultimately our hope is in one, and that is Jesus Christ as our Savior. There is no other true hope than him. There isn't. And again, I don't care what you've done, but I can tell you that God is faithful when we are faithless. And so I've asked Jeff to close us out with a song and to kind of take it from here.
Source of life, I can't be left behind. No one else will do. I will take hold of you, 'cause I need you, Jesus. Come to my rescue. Where else could I go? There's no other name by which I am saved. Capture me with grace. I will follow you. You are the source of life. I can't be left behind. No one else will do. I will take hold of you. Thank you. 'Cause I need you, Jesus. Come to my rescue. Where else could I go? There's no other name by which I am saved. Oh, capture me with grace. I will follow you, and there is nothing for me, 'cause I'll follow you. This world has nothing for me. Oh, Lord, this world has nothing for me. 'Cause I need you, Jesus. Come to my rescue. Where else could I go? Oh, there's no other name by which I am saved. Capture me with grace. Oh, capture me with grace. I will follow you. Just remember what Stace was saying, guys, that God's grace is for everyone, not a certain select, not anything that you do. He says, I know, I've come to rescue you. I know you can't be perfect. I know you can't do this. You failed. That's what the whole Old Testament is just showing you. You can't. That's why I sent my son. I sent myself down here in the form of a man. He called him my son. And he died for you. All you have to do is accept it. Yeah, but then there's other stuff I have to do or whatever. No, it's accepting. His hand is reaching out to you and saying, here it is. I will rescue you. I will make it complete. That's what Jesus did. We've just made it so complicated. We made it so legalistic. I know it's a big church word. But really, it's just reaching out to a Father that loves you and says, okay, take me. I believe that you are my Savior. And He is the one that rescues us. Doesn't that feel good? I know He rescued me, and a lot of you know my story, and I won't go into it, but I'm talking, I lost my career, I lost everything, and I said, I did the best. I was a pastor, and I went through a divorce and had an ex-wife leave me, and all this going, what happened? And how could I ever be in ministry again? How people are going to look at me again? Even though, you can go in the details and go, no, you were okay doing what you did. It's okay. But you still feel that guilt, And I don't know what your story is, but you could be rescued. And there's a lot of people here at this wonderful church that we feel we're a part of. We feel that we're your extended family over in the States when we go home. Thank you for letting us be a part. This is a wonderful church, wonderful people that want to help you. I want to get you plugged in to know who Jesus really is. So there's people around here. We're around afterwards. We're just going to sugar up, maybe get some caffeine, and hang out. You are welcome to talk to us. Gary, Josh, Nathan, the elders, this ministry team of women are here. So please reach out if you want to talk to somebody. 'Cause I need you, Jesus. Come to my rescue. Where else could I go? There's no other name by which I am saved. Capture me with grace. I will follow you. Will you sing this with me if you know? All to Jesus I surrender. All to Him I freely give. I will ever love and trust Him in this presence daily. Here's the chorus. Let's sing it. I surrender all. I surrender all to thee, my blessed Savior. I surrender all. Surrender to him tonight. Talk to somebody afterwards. Lord, we thank you for tonight. We thank you that we can be a part of this family, your family. We give you the rest of this night, Jesus. In Jesus' name, and all of us, guys, or all God's children, say amen. Thank you for having us, guys. Thank you so much.